Madan Lal, you've seen some big cricketers and rough patches.
Yeah.
Tendulkar has been through rough patches. Ganguly has been through rough patches. Before that, Gavaskar has been through rough patches. When you compare across the pantheon of cricketing greats, how do you compare the lean patch that Kohli is going through with what others have gone through? Is this roughly the same, or is it looking differently?
Yeah, definitely, I think, you know, like his form is in concern, you know, for the Indian team. But, you know, like the only few things can happen, you know, if you go out of form. Technically, you might be wrong, you know.
What do you think is going wrong?
I think it's going wrong, you know, you know, offside off stump, which we are all talking about. I think he's got a little bit of confused, you know. But
some of it is bad luck, like what happened in that test match where he dragged the ball onto the stumps.
Yeah.
He's trying really hard to leave it just this.
Yeah, that's right. Or second thing is, you know, like you mentally exhausted, you know. Because the break might do him a good, but Vikrant rightly said, you have to perform. Whenever you come back, if you don't perform, then I think he'll be struggling to get into the side. But definitely, I believe, you know, he should go to Australia for the 2020 World Cup.
You think he should play the T20
He should.
Why should
because
he play
why?
Rajdeep says he should retire from
T20.
No, one minute. I said if he has to choose between the three formats, he must give up T20.
Yeah,
that's all I said.
I agree. That can be happen after the World Cup. Why I'm telling you that
No, but earlier, I mean, Vikrant and Nikhil and Rajdeep are genuine cricket fans. I'm a Mauka-Terran cricket fan. But the fact is, earlier when Kohli went out to bat, you know, people were really happy, okay, Kohli's gone to bat. Now when he goes out to bat, they think, he ball kharab karega, let him get out.
No. When he goes to bat, we pray.
Yeah.
We pray he should get runs.
But you know, the one thing that everyone mentioned, that his weakness is outside the off stump. I think what you're not looking at is that weakness has now been amplified into various things. If you watch cricket on a daily basis, you know when the off spinner comes, he's in trouble. When the leg spinner comes, he's in trouble. When the seamer outside the off stump comes, he's in trouble. When the left arm fast bowler comes, he's in trouble. So there's not just one thing of that outside the off stump. Now, if you're watching cricket regularly, you realize there is too many things that are troubling him.
Why do you think?
So I tell you, I know that at the moment you've had new words that have been called unparliamentary, that like, you know, Andolan Jeevi cannot be used, and you cannot use words such as corruption. In cricketing parlance, you cannot use the word expert at the moment. So that's unparliamentary. So I will not term myself as I will not term myself as an expert and give you the reasons why he's not doing well, but I will quote a few former players that have looked at why is it that Virat Kohli isn't scoring runs. And a few former players come to my mind who said that, listen, he's predominantly a bottom-handed player. As he ages and his reaction falls even minutely to half a second, he's going to struggle to get runs. What is true now is, as Rajdeep mentions, he'll go on to play till 40. I'm not sure he'll be able to play to 40. You spoke about a lot of players struggling, the likes of Sachin Tendulkar, top-handed player. He would find a way to get back into form. The thing with Virat is, it's been 2.5 years, he's not got 100. And unfortunately, if you speak to quote-unquote experts, they think that probably now you'll never see the best of Virat. So if that's the situation, then whether he decides to leave one format or the other, it's not going to help him.
This bottom-hand thing is a very interesting thing. No, because every cricketer over... You know, my old man father would always say, if you're a bottom-hand player, after a certain age, you will struggle. Because they were hand-eye players. Exactly. You look at the great Viv Richards.
It happened with Sehwag also. And I think another point...
Viv Richards' average, before he was 33, 34, was in the high 50s. It came down into the mid-40s after 33, 34 because he was also, at the great Viv Richards, you know, as great a player, struggled in the last 5-6 years. But you see, in that period, you had a lot of matches where you could get rid of some of the deficiencies.
Now what happened in a Ranji Trophy game just before his last...
When was the last time Virat Kohli...
So why can't Kohli go back to a Ranji Trophy match?
See,
he doesn't have time, meaning what? Instead of playing some of these matches, he should go and play in the, which is what Ganguly did, which is what Dravid did, which others have done.
But here he has the opportunity of playing international cricket. He's leaving that out. Let alone play domestic. In those days, you never had international cricket, so you said, I'll go to domestic, I'll get some form.
It's changed.
Now it's not happening.
T20 has changed, and I think Virat's strength has become his weakness now.
How?
Virat was a very safe player. Very safe player. Technically solid. He would play test matches, he would play ODIs, he'd play T20s much in the same manner. Now, look at Suryakumar Yadav. He can play 5 kinds of sweep shots. Virat cannot sweep the ball. So if the off spinner comes, what is the shot that you play to release yourself? Either you go and lift it or you hit a cover drive. He gets bowled while playing a cover drive. He can't sweep the ball. So Virat did not change his game, which suited him because he was a risk-free batsman. In T20s, you've got to take risk. And secondly, I think cricket is very simple. It can be very difficult also. The same ball, while you're playing in the nets, you know what to do. When you go into a match, and I think again I would say T20s have magnified his issues, his problems, his batting woes. When you go into a match, he is not sure as to what to do. Virat once gave an interview saying before every game, I'm so confident that I feel I cannot get out. I think every ball that he faces now, he's predetermined. Look at his batting. Either he'll be on his back foot, or he'll be on the front foot, or he'll try to be very attacking, or he'll try to leave the ball. If you're going through a good phase, you never pre-plan things. You play one ball at a time. And I think the off-stump line that you were mentioning, Nikhil, the fourth stump has been a problem for many a great batsman, including Sir Don Bradman. The problem now is not the fourth stump line, it is the sixth and the seventh line. So sixth stump and the seventh stump line, if that becomes a problem for you, which means that you're trying to do 2 things, 3 things at a time, which are not happening.